You brought up a very big issue. Of course, we all know a colleague of ours, Charles Eruku, was caught in the line of the whole insecurity during the Rivers election. And of course, we knew what transpired, how much the physicals that we saw played out within the two major parties in the state. But then there are two major states here now, which all of us know that they are traditionally PDP states. From 1999, these states have been controlled by the PDP. It does bring a statement, isn't it? And what do you think this will pan out to be at the end of the day?
Well, you see, the state is the state. One of the reasons the state is what it is to ensure that it is standing ahead of anybody's security within its confine. I will not buy the argument of moving out a case out of a state because of security reasons. It's a way of accepting failure on the part of the state to provide security for the citizens. You can as well tell the citizens of, River State to go out of that state because there is insecurity. I mean, that, argument does not really hold water. Rather, it creates suspicion. The federal government of Nigeria should be able to provide security to monitor a tribunal when it is sitting. Otherwise, it's an admission of failure, which I don't want to, succumb to at this point.
Well, I guess at some point we've seen situations where court cases have been held, and at some point people have been caught in the line of fire, and we saw that happened in places like Ekiti State, where in the process of court proceeding, thugs allegedly ran into
when was this show?
This was sometimes late last year.
Late last year? During whose administration?
During the last administration.
I mean, the popular feeling, the body language in Nigeria is that the last administration did something that still does not go in line with democratic norms and values. We're talking about change. We're in a new era. There is another government in place.
The PDP.
Are we saying the same impunity will occur?
The PDP had said that there is a connivance with the judiciary and the ruling party. Do you see this in these judgments?
Well, there is no way I will say, because I'm not a soothsayer, but I'll rely on the pointer that I just gave you, that there are certain elements that made all these pronouncements very, very suspicious. And that is what exactly Nigerians must begin to look at. Very suspicious.
And you said also that if this had followed the rule of law, what if it has followed the rule of law, and these two states majorly, Akwa Ibom State, River State, these states are predominantly oil-producing states.
You see, that
the PDP just understand politically and economically what it takes to hold on to these states. What do you think could happen eventually if it slips off the hands of the PDP?
The analysis should be balanced. For the current ruling party, there is a seeming desperation to gain control of River State, Akwa Ibom State, and Lagos. The first two are oil-producing states. We know what that means in the socio-political milieu in Nigeria. Lagos State is the commercial hub of this country. So the desperation on the part of APC, seeming desperation on the part of APC to control and regain these two states is politically understandable. But again, it may also trigger a similar desperation on the part of the PDP to begin to raise suspicion, accusation, and counter-accusation, because it also means a lot for them to lose these two states, including Lagos. So it is neither here nor there. What I'm saying is that if you're in an administration that promises to change things, that promises to say this is no longer business as usual, certain issues that raise suspicion about this judgment and the way they have been brandished shouldn't have been allowed to come.
All right, well, you said the seeming arrangement, but then one governor who feels similar, who has a similar feeling, is the governor of Ekiti State, and he came out to say, well, this situation is worrisome. Let me give you an understanding of what he said. Governor Ayodele Fayose of Ekiti State is one of the governors of the PDP. They have been talking. We understand that there was an emergency meeting of the PDP governors, and this is what he said. He said the seeming collaboration between the All Progressives Congress APC-led federal government and a section of the judiciary is worrisome and portends grave danger to the corporate existence of Nigeria. This is worse than corruption that the president claimed to be fighting. Is he correct with this statement?
Well, I will not say that he is correct. Again, he's speaking as a politician, while the position of APC too is a position of the politician. The fact remains that, as I emphasize, certain issues raise suspicion. I may want to add a few ones to you. Why is it that members of these tribunals were constantly changed at one point in time? That raised suspicion, okay? The second one, which you may not understand, I mean, you might not have noted, is that part of the things generating heat in the polity is that most of these judgments given were given on the issue of the permanent voters card, which under our law does not have the legal validity to determine whether an election is fair or not. These issues are ongoing. They've not been resolved legally. Then tribunals are giving judgment in a hurry, especially the one of Rivers State, which appears to be overshadowing.
When you say it's in a hurry, is it wrong legally to hold a court session on Saturday?
Well, I am not saying it is wrong, but you see, we're talking about politics, Sheon. Politics and law are two parallel things. The law is sacrosanct. Politics is interpretative. If I have a period of 7 days to take my decision, and there's another judgment, there's another case pending in front of Supreme Court determining something that has to do with that case, why am I supposed to be in a hurry to deliver a judgment on a Saturday? Right. That is the political interpretation that raises suspicion. Right. The law may allow it, but politically, there is some kind of suspicion.
Let me